My name is Caldwell. I live in Cupertino, California, which is in the Bay Area, and I'm the author of City of Tranquil Light. I've never been to Iowa City. This is my first time. I've heard about it forever, and I'm here to read courtesy of Prairie Lights from the new novel. I've always made my living as a writer, and I feel really fortunate that way. I was hired by IBM as a technical writer a year after I graduated from college. I was an English major with a creative writing focus from Stanford. And I worked as a technical writer, off and on for a long time. I ghostwrite some business books right now, or edit them heavily. And it's really gratifying to me to be writing. I feel strongly that for me, no writing is wasted. So even if I'm working on something that has nothing to do with my fiction, it comes back to help me later on. I've seen it again and again, and I'm happy when I'm writing. I'm happier when I'm writing my own fiction, but I'm happy when I'm writing. I have two kids who are now 25 almost and 27, but when they were little, I was really trying to write short stories and stay with it. I was on maternity leave, so I remember writing with them in my arms. I remember writing for 15 minutes if I got it. Time became very valuable. And I think the challenges for me always change. My kids are grown and out of the house, but there's always something that can get in the way of writing. Whether it's just being comfortable physically, finding the time. First drafts are excruciating for me, so that's painful. I recharge my writing batteries. The best way I know is reading good fiction, especially fiction, but nonfiction too. I also read poetry to kind of warm up, and it encourages me, it inspires me, and it reminds me of what I'm doing. It reminds me that it's about the work. Just reading beautiful writing makes me want to write, even if I know, or even if I don't think I can do it as well as that writer did. Reading beautiful sentences makes me want to get to work and makes me say, sort of, maybe I could do that. Even if I couldn't do it as well as that person, maybe I could do that, and it makes me want to get to work. I'm trying to think if there's a word or a phrase in drafts that I often cut. Well, I think I have some kind of go-to things. I think when I'm setting a scene, and I go back and I look at the different senses. Maybe the first time around it was very visual, that's my first take, and it's also very emotional. I'm very aware of what my characters are feeling. But then I go back to it and think about other senses. You know, am I doing anything with taste, or am I doing anything with feel, smell, all that? So one thing that I've gone back to, and I may be embarrassing myself because I can't remember how much it's in either of the novels, a dog barked in the distance. And that just helps, even if I cut it later, that helps me as a writer to kind of get beyond the room or the yard or wherever I am fictionally, and to remember that there's a whole world out there, and to think about what's happening 2 blocks away or something like that. So a dog barked in the distance is my go-to distance thing. My spirituality is very important to my writing. It's very central, and that's changed in the last maybe 7 or 8 years. I had a spiritual life several years ago, but then I was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer in 2004, and I had to put the novel that I was working on, City of Tranquil Light, on the back burner for a while I went through chemo and radiation. I'm healthy today. But when I came back to that novel, I was no longer interested in just doing it for myself. I wanted my spirituality to be part of it, and I wanted to know that it was kind of the thing that was meant for me to be doing right now. I didn't want to do it. The shorthand would be, I didn't want to do it if God wasn't involved. The question, who is a writer, is something I kind of think about, because when you have a book come out and you start doing some readings or you get some reviews or something like that, it's very easy for me to kind of jump. It's tempting to jump the fence, and it starts to seem that writing is about publication. But a writer isn't someone who's published. A writer is somebody who writes. And it's really important to me. I'm not great about working every day, but I try to. And even if I'm writing just kind of some longhand stuff, I'm using my writing muscles. So to me, a writer is somebody who writes consistently.